Now, we're going to be having a little interaction today. And one of the advantages of coming to a program like this is get to meet new people, yet I know most of you are sitting with people you already know. That's going to stop. You're going to stand up. You're going to look around the room. You're going to find one person you do not know. I don't want groups of 3, only 2. You're going to find one person you do not know and sit next to that person. Stand up. Stand up. To your marks, get set. Find somebody you don't know. Go, 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 go. Find a partner. Find a partner. Go, 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 go. Okay, sit, sit, sit. Sit by your new partner. Sit, sit, sit. We are going to practice peer coaching. In peer coaching, you are not here to judge your partner. You are not here to critique your partner. You are not here to put your partner down. You're here to help your partner. I want you to shake hands with your partner and say, partner, my name is, I'm here to help. Go, shake hands with your partner. Now, what are our goals? I'm going to talk about 6 different studies that show why the key variable in our success is not a coach, although I am a coach. It's not a book, although I write books. And it's not a program, although I teach programs. The key variable really is more the person. I'm going to explain that. I'm going to share something called a daily question process with you. I'm going to teach you something today that takes 2 minutes a day. 2 minutes. Costs absolutely nothing and will help you get better at almost anything. Now, some of you are skeptical right now. You're thinking, wait a minute, 2 minutes a day, costs nothing, going to help me get better at almost anything? Well, that sounds too good to be true. I'm going to make a second prediction. Half of you that begin doing this will quit within 2 weeks. And you won't quit because it does not work. You will quit because it does work. You see, what I'm going to teach you is stuff that's real easy to understand. It's just real hard to do. It's easy to understand. It's hard to do. And I'm going to talk about how we can use active questions, and I'm going to talk about engagement. And as a small business person, entrepreneur, I'm going to give you a great technique to help your own engagement go up and the engagement of the people you work with go up. And again, it doesn't cost any money. It's something you can take back and use. What got me started on this topic, I went to a presentation at something called the National Academy of Human Resources. I'm a fellow in this National Academy, and they have the heads of HR of these huge companies, and they did a presentation on employee engagement. And they were challenging these people. How do you increase employee engagement? And they talked about recognition and reward and training programs, all these good things. And then I'm listening to this, it was all good. And then they said, in spite of everything, employee engagement globally is near an all-time low. I'm thinking, wait a minute, if you all are so smart, you've been doing this 30 years, how come things not getting better? Then I listened, I realized 100% of the dialogue about engagement was what can the company do to engage you? And absolutely 0% was how can you engage yourself? I started thinking, these people are missing half of the equation. I don't know if you ever heard the famous John Kennedy speech, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This was all the reverse of the famous John Kennedy speech. It was 100% what's somebody do for you and 0% what are you going to do? Well, I said, you're missing half the point. Now, I'm flying constantly. On American Airlines, I'm on a typical 3-hour flight. One flight attendant's positive, motivated, upbeat, enthusiastic. One flight attendant's negative, bitter, angry, and cynical. Have any of you ever been on that flight before? You've been on such a flight, yeah. Same pay, same uniform, same employee engagement program. What's the difference? The difference is not what's on the outside. The difference is what's on the inside. Well, that got me thinking, and I'm going to share some of our research. The first is learning from executive coaching. And as an executive coach, I don't get paid if my clients don't get better. Better's not judged by me. Better's not judged by my client. Better's judged by everyone around my client. There is a great way to test if someone actually believes what they're saying. I've never seen this test fail. You can ask a person one question and instantly determine their level of belief. What is that simple question? Want to bet on it? They say, I believe it, but I don't want to bet on it. What did you learn? They don't believe it. They say, here's the money. They believe it. I bet on this every time. When you get paid for results, you learn a little bit of humility. The client I coached, I spent the most amount of time with, did not improve at all, and I did not get paid. The client I coached, I spent the least amount of time with, improved more than anyone I've ever coached. 200 people got better, and I did get paid. This was a humbling experience. For those of you with a background in mathematics, I made a chart. On one dimension, it was called time spent with Marshall Goldsmith. The other dimension was called improvement. There was a clear negative correlation between spending time with me and getting better. Well, I thought that's a puzzling, troubling chart, right? So I go talk to my client who improved the most, who I spent the least amount of time with, who was fantastic to start with, and who, by the way, was ranked in Fortune magazine last year as the #3 greatest leader in the world, only behind the Pope and Angela Merkel, and by the way, he deserved it. His name is Alan Mulally. Alan just retired as the CEO of the Ford Motor Company, totally turned that company around. Stock went from 1 to 18.4 under his watch. He did not take 1 cent of our United States government taxpayer dollars. A little round of applause for this guy. Good guy. I go talk to my friend Alan. I said, Alan, of all the people I've ever coached, you improved the most. I spent the least amount of time with you, and you're great to start with. I showed Alan my chart. I said, Alan, the way this troubling chart looks, had you never met me, you would really be good. So I asked my friend Alan, I said, what should I learn about coaching from you? He taught me 2 great lessons, which I'm now going to share with you. He said, Marshall, lesson number 1, your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. You pick the right customer, you win. You pick the wrong customer, you lose. Then he said, as the CEO of Ford, my job isn't that different. He said, I do not design the cars. I don't build the cars. I don't sell the cars. I got to have great people. He said, every day I drive to work, I tell myself, leadership is not about me. Leadership is about them. For the great achiever, it's all about me. For the great leader, it's all about them. Everyone in this room is a pretty great achiever, or you would not be sitting here right now. That does not mean you will be a great leader. As David was talking about, there's a big transition between I'm a great achiever and I'm a great leader. He's making that transition. My guess is I could put 1/3 of you up on the stage right now. You'd tell the same story he just told. Most of us never understand the importance of picking the right customers, too, in terms of doing coaching. I'm going to prove that right now. I'm going to ask the group a question, a troublesome question. Yes, a personal question. Perhaps even an embarrassing question. If the answer is yes, you must raise your hands. How many people in this room are still stupidly attempting to change the behavior of a husband-wife partner or significant other who has no interest in changing? Come on, get these hands up. Hands are waving in the air. Yes, hands in the air. Oh, she's hitting her husband up there. She's poking at the guy, right? Yeah, she's hitting him. Yeah, foolish man. Yeah, what's your name, sir? What's your name? What? Mitch, how long have you been engaged in this partner-changing attempt?
Actually, we are just engaged.
You're just engaged. Very good. Hit him some more. Hit him a few more times. Who's been attempting to change a husband, wife, or partner at least 20 years? How many years? Oh, he's in the room, too. How many years have you been trying to change him? 46 years. There he is. 46 years. You've been trying to change this rascal for 46 years. It's not worked out yet, right? Look up here. Look up here. Go like this. Hands. You have to do your hand. Now, here's the important point. Let it go or let him go. One or the other. Second troublesome, personal, or embarrassing question. How many people in this room are trying to attempt to change the behavior of mommy or daddy who has no interest in changing? Come on, hands up. Oh, mommy or daddy? Or both?
Mommy.
How many years have you been trying to change mommy? 50 wasted years. Look up here. She's loving this program, by the way. 50 wasted years. I was teaching my class at Dartmouth, and a woman raised her hand. I said, are you trying to change mommy or daddy? She said, daddy. I said, what's daddy's problem? She said, he does not have a healthy lifestyle. I said, how old is daddy? She goes, 94 years old. Leave the old boy alone. You want to smoke a cigar, old man? Smoke 2. You want to smoke pot? Who cares, right? Now, if you don't learn anything else from me today with this one lesson, you're going to be a better coach and have a happier life. In terms of coaching adults, what is this lesson? If they do not care, do not waste your time. If they do not care, do not waste your time. If you're going to get better at anything, the motivation for improvement's got to come from one and only one place, in here. If it doesn't come in from in here, you won't do it anyway. We've done research called Leadership as a Contact Sport. 86,000 people have been to my classes. I measured, do they do the stuff I teach, and do they get better? The people who do this stuff get better. Shockingly, the people who don't do anything don't improve. Well, values research. Every company has a plaque on the values plaque they put on the wall, right? Many of you probably have some plaque on the wall. You know what the researchers show? Those plaques don't mean much. Every company has the same plaque. The key to engagement is not do we have values, it's do we live the values. Do we live the values, not do we have the values. And then our research on happiness, meaning, and satisfaction is fascinating. You know what our research has shown? People who are miserable at work are miserable at home. They're just miserable people. Well, if the key to employee engagement is the company, statistically, why is it true that people who are disengaged at work tend to be the same people who are disengaged at home? Well, it's true because it's not just about the company. It's about us. Now, why is change so difficult? Why is it we make these New Year's resolutions we don't live up to? Why is it we fail every day on stuff we're planning to do? Years ago, my biggest customer was a company called Johnson & Johnson. Do all of you know Johnson & Johnson? 98% of their leaders said, I'm going to do what Marshall taught me. 98%. A year later, 70% had done something, and 30% absolutely zero. Not even 1 second. 70% of 2,000 people is 1,400 people getting evaluated by 10 coworkers each. 14,000 people have a little bit better life. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of that. I got to talk to people that did nothing. And I said, why'd you do nothing? Why did you come to my class, promise to do these good things, and a year later did nothing? Not even 1 minute. Well, their answer had to do with a dream. Yes, this is a dream I've had for years, and I'm looking into your eyes. Many of you have had this dream. Many of you have had this same idiotic dream on a recurring basis for years. What's the dream sound like? You know, I'm incredibly busy right now, given pressures of work and home and new technology that follows me everywhere and new business opportunities. I feel about as busy as I ever have. Sometimes I feel overcommitted. Well, I don't tell others this, but every now and again, my life feels just a little bit out of control. But you know, I'm working on some very unique and special challenges right now. And I think the worst of this is going to be over in about 4 or 5 months. And after that, I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks and get organized. I'm going to spend some time with the family, and I'm going to begin my new Healthy Life program. And after that, everything is going to be different, and it won't be crazy anymore. Has anyone in the room ever had a dream that vaguely resembles that dream? Now, how many years we've been having that same stupid dream? Now, there are not going to be any 2 or 3 weeks, and sanity's not going to prevail. Do any of you have a boss? Who has a boss and you have to make numbers? You got a boss and you got to make numbers. Raise your hand. Anybody got a boss? Got to make numbers. Yeah. She has a boss and she has to make numbers. What's your first name? Jen. Now, Jen has a boss and she has to make those numbers every quarter. Now, Jen, let's all imagine she overachieves on every number this year by 25%. 25% above all targets. Let's have a big round of applause for her. 25%. Now, Jen, what are the odds after that happened? The big boss can come back and say, Jen, now take a little break. In fact, let's lower those goals for next year. Is that going to be happening? No. Now, I want you to raise your hand and repeat after me. My name is Jen. And it's always going to be crazy. Always going to be crazy. Now, let me ask you another question. Who in this room, you are the boss? Your name, sir? Brett. Brett overachieves on every one of his goals by 25% this year. 25% of all his targets. Let's hear it for Brett over here. Very good. Hooray for Brett. Brett, what are the odds you're going to look at Brett next time and say, you know, Brett, we're going to lower those goals next year. Take a little break. We're going to lower the bar. Is that going to be happening? No. You raise your hand and repeat after me. My name is Brett. And I'm always going to be crazy. For most people in this room, who is that crazy maniac that's driving you? Yeah, we're driving ourselves. And by the way, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the way it is. Some of you have some fantasy that if you make a certain amount of money or achieve some goal or some nonsense that everything's going to be different. No, it's not.